And zooming the map, and we are live. Alrighty, in last week's session, the party delved into the depths of the lost mine of Phandelver, having defeated a room full of undead and cleaned most of the complex out, having found the cavern beneath and the myconids within it, having taken a short rest in the temple chamber. They encountered a wraith, a previous resident of this place who was betrayed and killed in the attack. Um, the Wraith made a deal with them to unlock the magically locked doors in exchange for the party ridding this place of whatever lie beyond. Um, Part of that deal included the party vacating and not coming back. Remains to be seen how that deal plays out now. Beyond the doors, they found several undead creatures, a black sphere of inky darkness surrounding a platform surrounded by a lake of lava. Emerging from this sphere, Maloreth, the necromancer, seemingly parting ways permanently from his former patriot and cohort, the Black Spider, who was on the platform channeling magical energy into a new sword. The spider turned, and after a few words, there was a fight between him and the party dispatching his undead denizens that he controlled, and eventually felling the spider himself. His last act to teleport over to the bridge in an attempt to jump into the quick rushing water and escape down the waterfall, stymied by quick efforts to grapple him. The sword, however, lost in the water. And so we begin this week's episode with a mad dash for the sword, and we learn the final fate perhaps, of the Black Spider. So, when we left off, Lunalia in wild shape, black bear form, had the spider's unconscious body grappled up against the side of the fast rushing water. I believe Rogar was on the bridge, having just assailed the black spider and seen the sword drop beneath the surface of the water. Scribble's Hound of Ill Omen was nearby as well, actually, I think in the water. And the rest of you at your various locations about the map as you see them here. I've taken us out of initiative, so we'll just go around and ask everybody what they're doing next. So we'll start with Lunalia, who has the spider grappled. What are you doing besides hanging on to him?
I would be pulling him out of the water.
All right. Rogar.
Uh, Preparing a rope, I guess, to bind him.
All right. Noro.
I'm rushing to go help.
And remind me, are you still raging? Had your rage already dropped, or was it still up? I have it down as still up, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was up, but given that I have Linalia's handy dandy lavender necklace, it takes me out.
I think there was also a round where you didn't get attacked or attack or something.
Yes.
Like towards the end there.
Yeah, I think the last thing you did was yeet a skeleton into the water.
Yes.
And Scribble.
Are the skulls that dropped like right around by my feet?
Well, I was trying to remember how many I narrated there being, and without going back and looking at old footage, I'm gonna say there was 6 total, and I believe 2 of them had rolled off into the lava. And if I'm wrong, well, that's what it is now. There are 4.
I think that's what you said.
There are 4 sort of strewn about the platform and steps up here.
Do any of them like react, or do I react to them the same way I did as the one from the well?
I mean, they're a good 10 to 15 feet away.
Oh, okay.
But you get just a tingle at the base of your skull that there's an affinity between you and them. There is a similar magic there. And just a bit of a draw.
Can I go grab one of them, or attempt to grab one of them without other people noticing?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say everybody else is fairly tied up with what they're doing. Maybe make a sleight of hand check, just to see. I'm not really looking for a high roll. I'm looking for a low one. $20. Bear with me for just a quick second. I'm going to have a look at some passive perceptions of people who aren't entirely tied up with what's going on with the spider there. All right. You suspect nobody noticed as you quickly scoop one of them up. And are you going to hold it, or are you going to put it in your bag, or?
I was gonna put it in my bag.
Okay. So you scoop one up, and there's a magnetism to this skull. You kind of almost don't want to let it leave your hand, but you manage to stuff it into the bag and go back about your way. Are you doing anything else before I go back to the others?
No, I'll just eventually meander over to them as they do their thing with.
And I'm not
Would
entirely.
my passive perception have seen what he was doing?
Busy.
Probably not. You're
Also
busy.
a bear.
Yeah, actually, I'm curious what the bears. I don't know. I don't want to dig too deeply into it. I'd say if your back was turned, you wouldn't have really seen what he was doing. Scribble, is there anything else you're going to do before we go back to the others?
No.
Lunalia, you manage to pull Nesnar out of the water slowly, and as Noro runs over, he gets a couple of meaty handfuls of the slender drow and drags him ashore. Scribble, what would your hound be doing? I'm not entirely certain of
Drowning.
what it does once its target is dead or incapacitated.
I think it actually says it disappears.
Uh-huh.
Let me see.
If its target is reduced to 0 hit points, the hound disappears. Alright, so as the others pull the drow from the water, this spectral, shadowy hound that was assailing him vanishes in wisps of black smoke. So, you get him out of the water. The sword, however, has fallen beneath the surface and is no longer visible. The drow is unconscious, barely breathing, wounded, bloodied. The tarnished silver breastplate he wears has a blood red gem embedded in it that is glowing softly. And he just lays there on the stone, one hand sort of draped into the water. Draped over the edge into the water. What are you all doing?
I'm gonna drop my wild shape.
And as a reminder, you are still concentrating on heat metal and have about 12 seconds left on it. Scribble, you're concentrating on Shadow Blade with 36 seconds or so left on it. And remember, Scribble, you also have the heroism effect on you from Kern for another 9 minutes.
That's my 3 points of health, right?
Yeah, I think so. If we get into any more combat, I'll go look it up and refresh you on what it does.
I was just thinking, I forgot what the spell was called. Is he dead?
Very close. Just checking my items real quick. I am going to, as soon as I drop my wild shape, I'm going to pull my rope from my pack, slap one end into Noro's hand, and say, "Don't let go." And then she's gonna take the other end and jump in the water.
All right. With Noro holding the rope, you hop into the water, and I'm assuming you're looking for the sword.
I'm looking for, yeah, because it should heat metal should still be up for another few seconds. I'm looking for it in the water.
Using the spell to amplify the heat in the blade, go ahead and make a perception check as you feel around the bottom of the stream here, and at the same time, I need you to make a athletics check to fight against the current. With advantage because you are a swimmer. Oof.
Nice.
Good on the advantage. So you hop in the water. The 22 is enough. You, despite the rush of ice cold water, your hand brushes past something warm, and you reach out for it and find the blade itself. Dropping concentration on the spell, you manage to get your hands on the blade without burning yourself, and the rest of you see Lunalia fighting against the current break the surface of the water, sword in hand.
Pull me out.
Yeet!
Yeet.
Noro yanks heartily on the rope, and Lunalia flies over his head into the lava.
Oh!
That'll warm you up.
Oh boy. No.
I'd have to roll a 1.
You don't really
See that one?
You don't really have to. You could. You know what? You could. Sure. Make an athletics check. Sure. Why not?
Do it for fun. Aww. Why? Noro's so
Instead-
good.
Instead, because I have the rope wrapped around my arm, he just yanks my arm out of its socket.
Yeet. That's okay. In like 6 or 7 levels, you'll be able to regenerate that. You'll be fine. And so, with Lunalia leaving the water and climbing onto dry land with the sword in hand, you now have the Black Spider unconscious and his weapon. Lunalia, I'm going to need
As soon as she
you-
gets out of the water, she's gonna drop it.
Okay. As you drop it, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Ooh. Not good. You take 12 points of psychic damage as a horrific scream assaults your mind. Instead of dropping the blade, you violently fling it to the ground. And the rest of you see a dark smoke pour from its blade as the green runes down the side of the longsword's blade flare for a second and then die down. Noro, the blade clatters to a stop at your feet. You look down. It's beautifully made. A long, slender blade with a groove down the middle of it, filled with runes from one end to the other. They glow a dull, sickly green. The gemmed hilt, broad but slender at the same time. At the end of the leather-wrapped handle on the pommel, there is a mark that you recognize. It is very similar to your crafter's mark, but there is a jagged line carved across the middle of it.
No.
Uh-oh.
I should say perhaps not your crafter's mark, but a mark used by your clan, and perhaps shared by the dwarves that you learned from.
Nora wants to pick it up, but seeing what has happened, he kind of like looks up like, anybody else want to try to pick that thing up?
Lunalia's just gonna take her soggy cloak and throw it over top of it. Should be fine as long as your skin doesn't touch it.
Do you pick it up?
I won't, no.
Noro?
Yes, I'll try.
You reach down and scoop up the blade, being careful to grab the cloak around the blade so that you don't come into contact with it. You can feel a power thrumming in it. It's cold, and it, as you stare at it, what part of it is revealed from beneath the cloak. It's mesmerizing. You hear whispers in the corners of your mind.
It's Frostmourne! Put it down!
You can't make out the words, but you stare at it for seconds, sort of lost. And eventually you come to and look about, and nothing's changed about you. The blade looks lifeless in your hands. The color in the runes has all but died away. But that mark is very, very clear.
And I share with other people. I'm like, this is the mark of my clan, but almost like crossed out.
Would that signify anything?
Your clan is known for making cursed or unholy weapons.
Make an investigation check with advantage because you're blacksmithing.
Meanwhile, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Oh yeah, and Kern is going to do a little healing too.
Oh, I see that green color, Hummer.
Yeah, them Twinkies, man. I'm rolling high today.
Old Kern doesn't have a lot of spell slots left. He is going to he's going to cast Cure Wounds at second level on Louis, giving him 13 hit points back. Let's see if this will work here. Hey, that worked.
I kind of explained to give a little backdrop story about my clan where I was only ever involved in the production side, but never really like once it was produced, I never really knew where they went. Like if they were going to get enchanted, or I've been part of selling them, but not as magical weapons, just kind of like as standard, black iron type weapons.
As you inspect the weapon, it becomes clear to you that it is freshly forged. This blade has seen no combat. The grind on the edge of the blade is fresh. Your typical wear that you would see in the grip. Scratches and scrapes in the pommel and hilt from carrying the weapon for a long period of time. Nothing. It is clean. It is pristine. And this mark, the scar across the middle of the crafter's mark is not one that was done after the fact. It is part of the mark. It's not like somebody has crossed out this crafter's mark. It is like somebody has adopted your clan's mark, but with a line drawn through it, perhaps signifying their departure.
Rogue, yeah. I guess since I'm near other blacksmithing stuff, like I want to look around and see if anything hints off if stuff like this is being made like right here.
I'm gonna make I'm gonna let the natural 20 roll. You go from the blade to starting to look around, and as you do, you can see that that while the implements here are old, there are fresh signs of use here. You find tools, without the signs of age on them. Tools that were perhaps brought here to be used. Certainly newer than the 500 to 800 years of age in the rest of the tooling about. The anvils here look extremely old and well worn, but there are newer tools laying about. Signs that someone was working here, in the past few months, perhaps. A fresh supply of coal piled near a smaller forge. Ingots strewn about. We'll get to a little bit more of loot as you look around. But yes, it's possible this blade was even worked here. What's everyone else doing? What are we doing with this unconscious drow lying on the ground? You hear Kern from a distance. You guys need any help over there?
I'm not sure yet. He's not
Want
dead.
to stab a drow?
Well,
Don't we need to ask him some questions?
do you want me to fix him up, or do you want me to...
No.
Right,
Slowly heal back up.
I don't feel real good about that other room. I'm gonna go watch the door. And he goes over and disappears just out of sight. But you get the feeling he's just standing in the doorway.
He's taken over Rogar's job.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really trust the DM either.
Kern?
Mm-hmm. Who knows what stirs in the rooms not being watched?
Don't you want to know what he was doing? Where this sword came from? What was really going on down here?
Would you believe anything he said?
I might not know enough to know if he's lying, but maybe some of you will. Rogar bound him, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and, just for fun, make a survival check. Nice. Rogar binds him well and tightly. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere.
Lunalia's going to look straight at Scribble while she pumps level 1 of Cure Wounds into the spider.
Oh. Well,
But then she's just going to stand on his throat. You know, just lightly. Like, don't get up.
You notice off in the distance, Louis is slowly walking around, having a look at some of the other tooling at the workbench in the far corner.
Is he muttering to himself?
He
What
is
does he say?
absolutely muttering to himself, and I will let you imagine. Use your imagination.
Oh man!
Feel free to, while I'm narrating, go have a look at past episodes if you'd like to hear what he sounds like, to remind yourself of what things he might be saying to himself, or his book, Pierre.
He's too far away for us to hear.
As you place your hands on the spider and finish the incantation, there is a warming glow of green light that pulses into him. His eyes flutter for a second. What? And he looks up sleepily and looks around. What is this? What do you intend to do with me?
I think we have a few questions that need answered.
He looks around and sees the sword. Noro, I'm assuming you may still have it in one hand, still wrapped in the cloak. His eyes go to the sword, but he says nothing. And he looks back at Lunalia.
Yes, eyes here. Don't worry about that. What were you doing down here? You told us you had no interest in this place.
It is what we had to do. The forge is not where we thought it was. And I thought the map would lead us to it, but the map led us to nothing. It's either a ruse or garbage. He looks Noro's direction with a scowl on his face.
What were you doing?
The pedestal. It has a remnant of the power that once flowed from the earth. It is all but tapped. I hoped it would be enough to finish what I started.
Power that flows from the earth? You mean elemental power?
No, arcane. The Spellforge was built on an arcane conflux. A font of power. It is weak, but there is still value in it. I thought to use what was left. It would not be enough, but it would be a start.
Use what was left for what?
His eyes again dart over to the blade, and then
She's
back
just
to
gonna
you.
push down with her foot a little bit. I said, never mind that.
To empower the blade.
And the bag of skulls?
You know very well what those are for.
You were going to use them as you did in the well?
He nods, insofar as much as he can with a boot on his neck. Belamar is doomed. I did not intend to kill anyone. Only to use what was left of them to build my army. I have seen a vision of the streets of that city filled with a baleful green flame. Not of my doing, not my plan. I only sought to reap the dead and use them to retake my home. With that sword, I could control them, march them away from the survivors, take them into the Underdark. They would never be seen again.
The dead should remain dead.
That is one opinion. Another is that they're useful. As Scribble walks closer to the prone drow, Rogar and Lunalia, both of you notice tendrils of barely visible, dark, inky smoke begin to extend from the drow, slowly creeping along the ground, almost like shadows, but slippery shadows that move like tentacles towards Scribble. And Scribble, as you approach, a similar darkness sort of wafts off of you, like fog rolling off hills, spilling onto the ground, flattening into shadows. The shadows from the two entities intermingle and merge, and become a single shadow that sort of normalizes into Scribble's shadow, lit from behind by the glow of the lava.
Scribble, maybe you should step back a bit. What is going on?
Is this an effect that would happen between just two random shadow sorcerers, or
Are you asking me mechanically
I'm
by the
asking
book?
you.
No. This is a DM doing weird shit.
Okay.
I mean, there's
Fun.
no. I'm not saying you get 3 spell slots back or anything. I'm just narrating a thing that happens.
No, I wasn't sure, like, mechanically, like, if this is something that...
No. It is definitely something that Scribble would have never seen before.
But I wouldn't feel endangered by it or anything, right?
No, in fact, you would feel emboldened by it a little bit. Emboldened, empowered. Those of you watching Scribble notice he almost... His presence, his stature grows a bit. Almost like he grew a couple inches.
Like the Grinch.
Whoa, Birdman. You used to be at my waist.
Now you're at my belly button.
And I'm like, tippy toes, what's going on?
The drow's eyes go wide as the Kenku approaches. I thought so. I thought you were another like me. Another of hers. Tell me, has she whispered in your ear as well? Did she send you after me?
I imagine we're all just sort of staring at Scribble, waiting for an answer.
I'm just
Like,
waiting for him to
what?
stab the guy.
I'm all like, hold on, is this guy from the dead? That's what Noro's thinking now.
I don't know what you're talking about. You have run into us. We've not run into you.
Fine. Keep your ruse. He looks back at Lunalia. I have little left. The only thing, the person I've ever loved is gone. My plans ruined. I don't know where to go from here, or why you keep me like this. Either let me go or finish me.
Noro gives Lunalia that I thought we didn't like to cage people or animals.
We don't. So she's going to lift her foot off of his neck and just walk over towards the doors.
Well, that's a pretty swift walk there.
Well, maybe she only gets as far as the end of the bridge. She's basically saying, do whatever you want. I don't care. She's already made it clear she's not down for torture. Whatever the group wants to do, do it. She knows Scribble will take care of it if no one else will.
Nesnar looks at Scribble and he says, If she has not come for you yet, beware. The Dark Lady's whispers are enticing. She will convince you you are on a righteous path.
Dark Lady.
And she will abandon you, as she has me, when you are no longer of purpose. He rolls his head to the side and looks at Noro. You've seen the mark. Another, like you, crafted that for me. One full of anger. One who walked away from... what? I don't know.
And Noro will he'll I guess you could say whisper his brother's name, but without making, like, whisper it, but like under his breath, like Talmu.
You know him.
I'm like, I was like, he was my brother. Was.
I see.
Was he here with you?
For a time, he served his purpose and went along his way. I know not where he is now.
How many of these did he make?
Just the one. I just start, Norik just kind of looks off into space, just starts thinking, like, to himself that, you know, if this is freshly looking made, that means he's nearby. Yeah, like it's not like still hot from the forge, but it's, it's a brand new sword. So it might have been sitting on a shelf for 6 months. But it's certainly never been carried into battle, and hasn't even been carried at someone's side for long enough to get a few scratches on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Nesnar starts to sit up and sort of lean himself up against the wall. He's badly injured. I mean, you know, he's got a few hit points in him now, but relatively speaking,
he's got 9.
He is beat to fuck. He just looks at the 3 of you remaining around him. Coughs.
So it looks like
a bit of blood comes out. He wipes it from his lip. Just looks around the room.
Knowing that what he has said to Noro would actually try to assist him. Because Noro is now more curious and wants to know more about his brother. So as I'm tending to him, I guess you could say I wanted to ask him, like you said, anger. You know, he was of a lot of anger. Anything in particular that he brought up, or what do you know?
He didn't speak much, but I could tell he was one who turned his back on something dear to him. So much rage within him at his past. But he wouldn't say much of it. He took my coin. He didn't ask many questions, and well, he looks at the sword. And he was an impressive crafter. The weapon is adequate for my purposes, even if the power from this font was not.
Okay. And I guess as I'm stabilizing to talk to him,
Where is the sword? Like, do you still have it in one hand, or did you set it down behind you, or?
yeah, I guess you could say like I set it down near the anvil when I was looking around, and I went to go help him.
But it's still wrapped in the cloak.
Yes. I was like, what's why this, I guess, type of weapon, or the incantations that it can do? Like, why this magic? Tell me, spell tosser.
There are too few of us to do what I wanted. Not enough to succeed, not by far. Thousands of drow would oppose us. I have a few tens of drow following me. I thought to make up the difference with an army of the dead.
So there's I guess a war going on between civil war?
There would be. Or at least there would have been. But it appears you're not going to allow that, so I suppose I will find another way.
This vision, the bell flames. You said you had these that were happening frequently, or?
Just once, but vivid enough that I will never forget it. A vision given to me as if for a purpose.
And and do you think the drow that are trying to stop you guys are a reason for that, or part of that?
No, the drow we oppose are those in my home city. The matriarchy, those who follow Lolth. I have always sought to overthrow them and establish a new order. He looks towards Scribble. I thought she would help me. She made it sound as if I was her champion. But I see now that I was just a pawn to be discarded when my methods were too abhorrent for her to stand by and watch. I do what must be done. There is nothing glamorous about it, there is nothing noble about it, but I do what must be done.
Would you like your body tossed in the river or in the lava?
He just looks at Scribble deadpan and doesn't say anything.
We could still use him.
I was thinking the same. Just need time to think. Does can I do a perception check on, I guess, if he's been telling the truth?
Insight check?
I
Yeah,
may.
absolutely.
I'm sorry. Insight
Yeah,
check.
no, I encourage it. You should insight check literally everything that comes out of my NPCs' mouths. Not great, but he's being very vague about all of this. Like, you don't get really the feeling that he's lying, but there might be a whole, great number of things that he's not saying.
Yeah, I'd like to think the time spent with the Duergar they would talk about the Drow.
Yeah,
And I
you know a
would
little.
know-
You know a little
know-
about Drow, sure.
Right.
You would, you can make a history check with advantage if you wanted to.
Yes.
Well, and we heard Selmia talk about Lolth, didn't we?
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
you've heard the Black Spider monologue about his mission as well, and what he's saying now really isn't any different from that. He's basically now just admitted that he seeks to raise an army of the dead, whereas he told you before that he just sought to raise an army. Yeah, Nora, with that history check, you're familiar enough with rumors of Drow culture and religion to know who Lolth is, and to know that they have a very sort of matriarchal, brutalistic society that they're backstabbing and conniving, and always there's a lot of one-upmanship, and a powerful spellcaster like him would be instantly distrusted, and it's not beyond reason to see him become an outcast. And you can definitely understand why he would want to change things, why he doesn't like the way things are and would want to change it. Like, you almost feel for him. There's nothing there's nothing strange about his motivations, and he seems like a very genuine person when it comes to his motivations.
Yep.
The insight check isn't really enough to reveal anything, if there's anything to reveal, but it's enough to say that, if anything, he's being a little vague about the whole thing, but maybe that's all there is to it.
So Nora's gonna whip out his weapon.
Is that code?
No, no, he's gonna whip out his weapon, Clangor's Ren, and use an intimidation. And I'm gonna speak in Undercommon and say, kind of like, is there anything else you want to tell us while you're still breathing? In other words, kind of like an opportunity to get him to fess up or be more clear about what, because he's got nothing to lose, right? So he's even that much more dangerous. He just said he has nothing more, et cetera, et cetera. So if he lives, but it's just more of an intimidation to see if there's, what more can come out of him.
Make an intimidation check.
Oh, of course you would do this now.
The sword comes out. The dull red glow lights the space around you, filling the shadows cast by the light from the lava behind you, and lighting the drow's face. You lean in and you utter the words, and he just looks at you. It is too late for your city. I know not what comes for them, but I have seen it burn. Not by my hand, but I have seen it burn. Your beloved town is doomed as well. There is a great evil that stirs beneath it. These are my words of warning. I sought to use these events, these calamities, to my advantage.
Is he speaking in common or undercommon?
He is speaking in undercommon to Noro.
Okay.
Noro's intimidation attempt at least got him to reply in undercommon. And he's speaking very plainly to you, Noro. And he says, if you learn something from this confrontation today, know that if you see me as an enemy, there is something far worse than me waiting for you. And he just closes his eyes and leans his head back against the stone wall. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to sit here and bleed for a bit. Either finish me or leave me be. He lets out a long sigh.
in undercommon, I just say Loth guard you, and I slice his neck.
Oh shit! Make a attack roll. I mean, do you really even? No, just it. Yeah,
I think it
mean,
would just happen.
Yeah, it. He's just sitting there. It's yeah.
He's just sitting there.
I mean, Scribble, if you're watching this and looking to act, I would say that you guys could roll initiative if there's anything you wanted to do about it. Stop him, or get in there before him, or whatever.
No, I would see that he was conversing in undercommon, and he had just talked about Hummer's brother. Did we know it was your brother?
Yes, because he responded with "You know him," and I'm
so
like,
after
"Oh my God."
an exchange of words between those two, I would just let him do it.
Wow. All right.
And after I say that, I know I was speaking undercommon, and I'm just gonna let them. I'm just gonna say a sentence. I said, "There's a saying that the tour guide taught me about these type of people, and they have a saying, and the saying is, the best trusted friend is yourself. There's no way we could have trusted him if we let him live."
That's what I said before we woke him up.
It's true. And with that, Noro just kind of walks away and goes to the anvil to go kind of keep investigating this blade, like just keep looking at it. And...
Kern steps back in and, hey, are you guys oh.
I'll just be out here.
and he steps back out quietly, seeing the splash of blood against the wall.
Kern is like the king of wrong place, wrong time.
He's my special awkward boy.
He's my favorite character.
I love Kern. He went from being like, what am I going to do? Because Kern exists in our home campaign 25 years later, and he doesn't talk much. But he's
a very minor.
He's a very minor character that he kind of fell in with some bad people and looked like, he joined him to just kind of help him out and get somewhere where he wanted to go. And he looks like a guy who's, he's like mid-50s and looks like he's had a really hard and not very fun life. And I thought, well, what would this guy be like as like an awkward late teens, early 20s, out of place, like half orc from, a weird different tribe with like a human parent and a dwarf, like worships a dwarven god because reasons, and he's just a weird, Frankenstein of cultures, and kind of doesn't. He's a hedge cleric too, right? Like he's got no clerical training whatsoever. You guys don't know this, but he's kind of tagged along with you, really fucking hoping that these prayers would be answered, and is now casting spells and shit. Like, oh man, I'm really glad this worked. I mean, I always kind of thought I could heal people, but I wasn't really sure. I mean, it's not quite that. Like, he's very definitely, cast spells before, but he was very unsure of himself in all of this. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be any good. I mean,
Right. Nora will start speaking in the sense of, like, trying to catch everybody up what happened in that conversation. He says pretty much, our city is already doomed. So either his vision is already happening now, same thing as Deebs was experiencing.
Yeah, Deebs had the vision.
Yeah, Deebs had
what's his name?
Yeah,
that guy.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure to call him Darkbeard or Deebs. I was just trying to remember which one it was.
Deeb's beard.
Isn't his name Deebs Darkbeard?
Yes. Yeah. So it's both.
It's Deebs.
So Deebs. I'm just thinking. I just think we need to head back because he also said we shouldn't really be worried about the drow. There's something more sinister than them right now. That's.
Were we ever worried about the drow?
Well, honestly, I was, because undead, right, and graveyards, and
It's not drow.
But no, like
But he-
other than these couple, like with the black spider, like
Oh,
was there
right.
ever a drow threat?
No, but he was referring to, like, if we let him live, he
right.
did say he was going to cause trouble, but
Not for us. He was going to go home and cause trouble.
yes,
He wanted to overthrow the leadership in Drow society.
right,
To turn away from Lolth.
right, and what Noro didn't say out loud, by the way, is, he has this thing about undead, and he talked about raising an undead to
Yes.
assist him with that. So that's kind of like, nope, we've seen what that looks like,
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right, not gonna. No, we have two problems. No, so I guess you could say I tried to. That was kind of like one of the other reasons cut him. But yeah, so now I'm just wondering, is my brother going to go and make more of these? Just looking at the sword, and how did he end up here?
Well, just because your brother made it doesn't mean he enchanted it.
Right. I also don't know how much he knows. It's been so long.
And so, did you say it looked like that he had made that sword possibly here?
Yeah, all the signs point to the remaining equipment here having been used recently. There is a smaller furnace here. There's a smelter. an anvil, a lot of it old, but there's a fresh pile of charcoal. There are ingots that look like they've been brought here. There are newer tools that have been used and left, along with a fair amount of old equipment and stuff that was here as well. Like this the mountain was brought down on the entrance of this place, after a fierce battle that abruptly interrupted work being done here. So you do also see old pieces of armor, unfinished weapons in racks. And actually, if you guys are at the point where you'd like to have a look around, I do have a small loot table for you.
I'm removing the Black Spider's armor.
Right. So as you remove his armor, you find as you go over his body, you find a sack with 100 platinum pieces and 1,000 gold and loose gems in it. And I'll divvy all of this up and apply it to your character sheets afterwards. All the coinage, anyway. The breastplate itself is of fine make. It's fitted to a drow. It's for a slender frame, but it could possibly be reworked to fit any one of you. It's tarnished, and there is a large, dull, blood red gem affixed to the center of the chest. Like a narrow and long gem. It's polished to a dull luster, and there's just a bit of a glow in it.
Does it look like the gem is the only thing magical about the breastplate, or the entire breastplate is magical?
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of looks like the gem itself is what's special.
Does our wizard have identify?
I believe he does, yes. Give me a second, and I will have a look at his character sheet. He has first level. He has identify. He can cast it as a ritual. So, yep, for sure.
Louis, stop your rummaging for a minute. We need some armor looked at.
Does that work for just one item, or like all magical items?
I think if you do it in a ritual, it's like anything you can fit in the ritual circle, or at least that's how I've seen it done.
It's one object. You choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of the spell.
Yeah, so it's like 10 minutes per object.
You learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use, and how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are, so if it has any sort of temporary enchantments on it or whatever. And if it was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it.
So we could have him identify the sword, the chest plate, gem thing, and anything else that we might find.
Yeah, you find a slender bracelet that the spider wore on his left wrist, and in it is embedded in it is a long, shard of clear crystal. When you look closely at it, there's a silver mist swirling within it. The sword, obviously, is a magical item, and those are the only things you really find on him. But as you inspect the space about you, you find several things of value. A sack of gems containing a star ruby worth 1,000 gold pieces, a black pearl worth 500 gold, 3 diamonds worth 300 gold each, and an additional 1,000 gold worth of loose gems. The sack itself is aged and just falling apart. It's threadbare and has seen too much time. You find 4 bars of mithril and 3 bars of platinum. The platinum bars are worth a total of 7,500 gold. If they were melted down, converted to coin, or if they were, let's say, sold at market. There is a breastplate of blackened steel with fine gold filigree, and an embossed dragon in the chest that it looks like someone has begun to cover in platinum leaf. It's finely crafted, and it's maybe worth having a look at. There are some smithing tools of finer quality here that Noro would, like, you might be interested in taking them. They're good tools, and could supplement what you have in your pack. And there is a tome that sits on a small pedestal. It is closed. It is locked. There is a complex lock of steel and brass that holds the book shut, with strange arcane sigils inscribed about it. And I'm going to leave that for RF to have a look at next week. But I will guarantee you guys it is not anything that will advance the plot or anything of plot interest. It is just treasure. It's treasure for your wizard. And I'd rather just leave it for him. It's one of the things he'll spend some time looking at and maybe make some rolls next week. And who knows, maybe it'll blow up in his face. We'll see.
While he's doing whatever it is he's doing, can Lunalia just go and put it on his wagon?
Sure.
Okay.
With a little sticky note saying, "Look at this."
No, she'll tell Pierre. Because she talks to the book sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't know what the hell it is. Pierre, maybe want to have a look at this after?
Yeah, I don't actually know what the if anybody else can interact with the book or not, but you can certainly try.
So that chest plate with you said dragon head on it with like silver.
It's like a full dragon. It's like a dragon crest.
Did you say that kind of looked like it was magical, or it just looks like a fancy breastplate?
It's really nice. It's unfinished. Noro, you have a look at it, and I won't make you roll for it or anything, but there's work left to be done on it. The basic shape is there. The gold filigree has been finished. It's sort of trimmed in very fine gold filigree work. But there is some work left to do on the centerpiece, which is that dragon's crest. There is a smaller bar of platinum and some tools, a hammer, brushes, and it looks like a small bottle that might have once contained an adhesive that's long since evaporated or dried out. It looks like somebody was in the process of finishing the inlaying of platinum leaf over the embossed image of the dragon. You would surmise that if you spent some time finishing it, it would be a very nice piece of armor, and I'll just tell you guys, you can tell by the quality in it. It is typical of the quality of items that are crafted to be enchanted. It is either enchanted or it could be enchanted. And I'd kind of like to leave it for Louis for next week, but it's not something you could strap on right now. In fact, the buckle work and stuff is missing. There are rivet holes where the straps are to be affixed to it. It's about 3/4 of the way finished.
Okay.
And from a meta perspective, the DM is telling you that this is a nice piece of magical gear that if the blacksmith of your party and the wizard of your party put a little time and effort into, might be a really cool piece of armor that somebody could wear.
Well, I think before anyone can really do anything, we gotta finish clearing out this place to make it safe.
Would the spider have the other half of the sending stone that I got from the doppelganger?
Yes, he would. So, give yourself,
A rock.
no, give yourself a pair of sending
Another
stones.
rock.
Yeah,
I got a rock.
give yourself a pair of sending stones for sure.
Nice.
I am totally not going to do this in Louis' voice, but will say that he takes the time to look over these items. After you finally get him to stop poking through the other stuff that's here, the bracelet with the shard of crystal in it, Scribble, it is an astral shard. It is attunable by a sorcerer. You can look it up on D&D Beyond. But I will describe it to you here for fun. It's a solidified shard of the astral plane. It swirls with silver mist. As an action, you can attach it to a tiny object such as a weapon or a piece of jewelry, or detach it. You can use the shard as a spellcasting focus for your sorcerer spells while you hold or wear it. When you use a meta magic option on a spell while you're holding or wearing the shard, immediately after casting you can teleport to an unoccupied space within 30 feet of you.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's one of the new pieces of kit from Tasha's.
Cool.
Gives your sorcerer tank a little bit of mobility. Now you can jump around like a demon hunter.
Jesus.
Just need that eye beam.
While everyone is doing investigations and looking at wondrous magical items, Lunalia is just going to walk over to the ramp heading up to the platform.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to kick any skulls that she sees into the lava.
Oh, well, there are 3.
And they're all getting booted into the lava.
As you kick these skulls, the first one that you kick hits the lava. There's a sizzle and a flash of light. You hear screams. For a good 3 or 4 seconds, ghastly, otherworldly screams that eventually die off as the skull dips below the surface and disappears.
What?
And if you continue with the other 2, you would hear the same thing.
Yeah, she'll continue with the other 2. And
No.
then she's just gonna sort of stare into the lava and think about what she's learned from that water elemental.
Can I swim in lava?
No, she's not stupid.
Well, maybe. I mean,
She's
you
a
know.
little dumb, but
Yeah.
but yeah, she's thinking about, what's been said about Dralenmar and the Green Flames, and what the elemental has told her about the Plane of Fire somehow being involved. So yeah, she's just staring off into the lava, thinking.
Okay, I'm just going to remove the concentration dot from you. And the one from Scribble for Shadow Blade, unless he... I don't think that... I think it had seconds left on it.
Yeah, it was 30-some. It's gone.
The breastplate is not magical. The gem, however, is. Louis spends some time concentrating on it as he sets a variety of small arcane tools out and tinkers with it for a bit. And the gem is permanently enchanted with the teleportation spell. However, it is a product of blood magic. It is powered by hit dice. And the way it works, with the spell being, I believe, 7th level, is 7 hit dice must be sacrificed into it.
Ooh.
Whoa.
To power 1 charge of the spell. It has, Louis surmises, 1 charge remaining in it. But to use it again, 1 or more people must contribute 7 hit dice to it. And what that means is you would roll the hit dice, you would take that damage directly to your max HP for the day, as well as also lose those hit dice for the day.
I mean, that's not so bad split across the party, especially
Sure.
if it's used as a oh shit.
Well, it also it takes time. Like, it's something you would do it in advance and then cast it.
Yeah, that's
as
what I
an
mean.
action.
So at the end of
Yeah.
the day, when okay, we're gonna rest. Everyone's pretty decent at health. Let's charge this thing up so that going into tomorrow, we have an oh shit. Is that how it works?
But how many people in this party are actually going to be okay with using blood magic for something like that?
Noro's out.
And the gem itself
Yeah.
must be attuned.
Oh,
So it's
well,
something that
yeah.
someone has to wear, and that you could all chip into to recharge it.
Does it lose charges? So like, could you charge it, half one day?
You're not certain. You'd have to play around with it a little bit.
Does he know how many charges it can hold?
It seems like it can hold at least 2, maybe 3. Hang on, let me look up what I wrote down. Yeah, it's like a Helm of Teleportation. It can hold 3 charges.
Okay.
It is, however, instead of regaining 1d3 charges at dawn every day, like the Helm does, in this case, the gem only regains charges when hit dice are spent, and it is you must spend 7 hit dice. If you spend 6, they're lost. So you must put at least 1 charge into it at a time. So you could pump 2
Mary will
charges
hold on
into
to
it
it for
instantly
now.
by spending 14 hit dice, but you don't got that many.
To
And
her,
your-
this doesn't smack of undeath. It's just she sees blood magic kind of like using your own life essence.
And you said that your hit point maximum goes down, or just your health for the day?
Yeah, so you basically roll the hit dice and subtract them from your max HP.
Got it.
You take the damage, like, up front, but also to your max hit points for the day. Because you're effectively reducing yourself by that many hit dice.
Yeah.
If you're level 7 and you have 7 hit dice and you put, let's say, 4 hit dice into it, along with somebody else putting another 3, you effectively drop down to, a level 3 of your class for hit points.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty big it's a pretty big loss. I mean, it's fairly safe if you're going to bed in a safe place and you're at full, but
Yeah.
if you get jumped in the middle of the night, you got a problem.
Yeah.
If you attune to it and then
Mhm.
put charges into it and then unattune it, does it lose charges?
Well, the person to whom it is attuned is dead, and Louis confirms that there seems to be
Oh, okay.
1 charge in it. So
That's cool. Okay.
kind of like a ring of spell storing, it appears to retain whatever's been put in it.
And only the person who's attuned to it can put charges in it, or anyone else?
Only the person who's attuned to it can use it.
I meant like sacrifice
but-
the health.
Yeah.
No,
if-
like a ring of spell storing, it can be contributed to by others.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I will hold on to it.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I don't think we're going to be sacrificing any health right now, but
Not today.
I was kind of I've been tinkering around with blood magic for the last like 2-3 years in D&D, and I really like the idea of being able to make a very dangerous short-term sacrifice to cast spells that are out of your normal reach. I might tinker with it a little bit further as far as balance goes if this thing, starts empowering you guys to teleport all around the world and go on crazy adventures too early. But I like the idea that you might, same with the Black Spider. Like, I wanted him to be able to teleport, but I'm like, this guy is not going to be casting 7th level spells because there's no way you're going to fight him and win.
Right.
So how does he cast 7th level spells? Well, he either has a Helm of Teleportation. I'm not putting a goofy looking samurai hat on my cool, Sephiroth Drow villain. So
He's not the cool Sephiroth Drow villain.
no,
The other guy
no,
is.
he's not. Who, Maloreth?
Yes.
Yeah,
He's the one with the long white hair.
they both have long white hair. All Drow have
Oh.
long white hair, except the bald ones. Anyway, so this is what I came up with, and the art that I swiped from the internet, which is actually of a character from Magic the Gathering. He has him wearing like a tarnished silver breastplate with a big dark red gem in the chest, and I thought, oh well, that's cool. It's the gem. There we go. So, and now you know. The sword. Louis spends some time trying to inspect the sword without really putting hands on it. He informs you that its name is Death Knell, the Dreadblade.
Oh, sounds lovely.
And there's not a lot he can tell about it, unfortunately. It is fairly powerful, but the faces he makes as he's inspecting it indicate that it's probably not something any of you guys would want to actually wield. This is sort of my meta way of saying he can't intuit everything there is to this blade, but it seems to be able to allow its wielder to command undead creatures.
Get in that lava.
But he tells you there is no guarantee that throwing it into the lava will destroy it. And somebody else could easily just fish it out, if were they to know that it was there.
Well, maybe we can get it cleansed.
I mean, commanding the undead, for better or worse, would help clear this place out.
No, I refuse.
Rogar the Death Knight.
You don't use swords, so... Just march them right into the lava.
Or we could just, do it the old-fashioned way.
So, kind of to the group. This, like all of the gems and whatnot, belong to the mine? Are they ours?
They weren't mined. They were from a drow, so I'd say they're spoils of battle.
Some of the stuff, the mithril ingots, the platinum ingots. Actually, yeah, you know what? You're not entirely certain about some of the ingots look like they were here prior.
I thought we were talking about the gems.
There's 2 sacks of gems.
But they were already here, right? I'm not talking about the stuff that Nesnar had on him.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so the sack of gems, the mithril, the platinum, the tome, the breastplate, all of that was already here. Those are remnants from 500 years ago.
Well, the rock seekers don't need to know about the book.
What?
Or the breastplate.
I mean...
If it makes you guys feel better, I mean, you know that they're after the mine with the intent of reopening it and operating it, not necessarily treasure.
I mean, Lunalia has no use for a bunch of mithril bars. I don't know if any of you do. Maybe Noro.
Yes.
The diamonds might come in handy later on for some of our spellcasters. And the coins we would probably take, but everything else, I'd say it's up in the air if we give it to the rock seekers. Kind of as like a jump start or as a continuation.
Could they get the mine going better if we gave them this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with leaving anything that was found in this room to the rock seekers, but I would take anything on Nesnar maybe with us. Except for the book and the breastplate. We don't need the breastplate. We'll just pop that gem out.
Hey guys. There's something out here.
Oh man.
Guys, hey. It's coming this way.
Ah, fuck.
Oh yeah, that guy.
As you all move over toward the doorway, yeah, you see Kern backing up slowly. He's got his shield up and the mace lighting the area about him out into the dark room. As you see the shadowy spectral form of the wraith slowly coming your way, its yellow eyes glittering in the darkness. It drifts up and stops about 20 feet away from Kern. It is done. You have dispatched the trespassers. Leave this place, or you are next.
Wait,
Yep, no problem.
I thought we were supposed to clear this place.
Shh, Noro.
No, oh, got it. Winky winky face, got it.
Do you know anything of the room beyond, to the north?
What room?
Where the mushroom people live. Far below.
It is not of my concern.
Oh, good.
Now leave.
Come on, guys. Let's go to the north. She's sort of like making eyes at you like, come on, let's go. Oh, actually, she would have asked Noro if
Yes.
he could grab Nesnar's body.
I thought we were throwing it in the lava.
Lunalia wants to take it down to the Myconids and, like, feed the earth.
You're carrying it.
Fine, I'll carry it.
Yeah,
As you,
What is
Noro-
her strength? He's got no armor
so,
on. He
okay,
can't be that heavy.
okay, stop. Who is going over to Nesnar's body, and what are they doing? The wraith is closing in on you guys, and Nesnar is a distance away. So tell me what you're doing.
Lunalia's gonna go grab it.
Okay. As you go over to his what's left of him, I mean, he's been stripped of his armor, and the body's just laying there. The head is nowhere to be found. It's gone.
Okay.
It was laying on the stone floor not far from the body, but it is gone now.
I didn't realize Noro cut it off. I thought he just slit his throat.
I thought he cut it off. I mean,
I just thought he fell apart after I sliced his throat.
all right. Well, if his head was attached, it's no longer
Yes.
attached. It's gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man,
I just
freaking
thought
out.
you took a swing at him with a greatsword and like, really, is his head even going to be attached after that?
Oh no, sorry. More descriptive next time. It was
But yeah,
more about
let's-
I placed it on his neck and sliced.
Okay, there you go. Well, so then for even more dramatic effect, his head has been cut clean off and is no longer anywhere in sight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so she's going to make a face and lean down, and she's going to pick it up, sort of fireman carry, and head back to the group.
Okay. Easy enough. You're slowed a little bit by carrying it, but you've got him. I'm just gonna delete his token because.
Yep.
There you go. Kern turns around. Hey, Louis. Hey, buddy. We gotta go. And you see Louis with his back turned to the group, the book in front of him open, pages flying. He just reaches a hand up and sort of shoos you all away, like go away, I'm busy. You guys do your thing. I'm gonna go keep an eye on him. And Kern moves over his direction. You hear him mumbling, hey, what are you doing, man? We gotta go.
Yeah, on the way out, Lunalia's just going to shout, "Don't leave this room. We'll be back."
Right. I've got him. You do your thing. And Kern is going to heal himself because he's at 16 hit points. Let's do a... Yeesh. Let's do a first level Cure Wounds. Actually, does he have a healing pot? Damn it. Kern, you unprepared son of a bitch. He is going to cast Cure Wounds on himself. For 7 hit points.
Does the Wraith still look weakened? From, like, trying to break through the door?
It does not appear to be.
So he's back to full health.
He seems to have reconstituted.
Okay. Yeah, keep walking, because I'm swinging at him.
Yeah, so...
Fine. Go nuts, I'm out of spell slots, I'm out here.
Lunalia and Noro, are you actually leaving? Or are you just walking away, or are you pretending to leave so that you can do something else?
No, Lunalia needs to get out of here so that we can come back and finish cleaning this place of the dead. If Rogar wants to fight, we can, but I won't be able to help.
Okay. Well, if Rogar walks up to the Wraith in a menacing fashion, then it's time to roll initiative.
All right.
We'll bring up the tracker and put some appropriate music on.
Oh, boo boo.
Good job, Hummer.
That's a dragon.
Who else we got? Yep. Missing somebody here. No,
Wraith.
there's only 4 of you. Of course. Okay. Initiative for the Wraith, and the Wraith has surprisingly high dex. Wow.
I don't like hearing that.
Yeah, no
I
shit.
mean, it's not like he's going to, stab you. So I don't think you have to worry about it.
I've got 16 if that matters first.
All right, so Rogar, given that you're second in the initiative order and we're going to attack, would you have waited for Lunalia and Noro to get so far away before you attacked?
No.
Okay. So, why don't I put the 2 of them back over, I don't know, somewhere around here, and maybe Noro behind them, and so Lunalia, if you're moving north with that body, go ahead and move your 30 feet, and we'll say as you're moving, you notice behind you that Rogar is moving to attack. So
Yep. So she'll drop the body on the ground at her feet and say, "We really don't have the strength for this right now." And she will. I have no spells left.
you got another wild shape, don't you? Well, alright, we can skip to Rogar then.
She'll cast Cure Wounds on herself.
There you go. Okay, Rogar, the turn is yours.
So walking up to him and attacking twice with the vicious longsword.
Oh yeah, that's right, you've got that vicious longsword. Unfortunately, a 10 does not.
There we go. I don't know why it lags so much when I try and click a second time in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You don't have the dice roller turned on, right? So it's just going straight to roll 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. The first swing passes sort of through its incorporeal form. As you shift your grip and swing back the other way, the sword makes purchase But doesn't seem to do as much damage as you would have hoped. The 13 slashing damage is halved. For 6 points of damage to the Wraith. As the sword passes through it, it pulls tendrils of the darkness that makes up this creature's form, tearing them off of it.
Do I get the sense that a shield slam would move it at all, or no?
I mean... Yeah, that's interesting.
You could certainly try.
It is... You know what? I would give it advantage on the roll. It's immune to being grappled. I'll just say that straight up. But given that you can damage it with a weapon, I would imagine you could interact with it. I mean, you can hit it with your shield.
Yeah, considering my shield is also technically magical.
Oh, it's immune to being knocked prone though, so you could knock it back, but you couldn't knock it down.
The knockback is fine.
Sure. Ugh. Yeah, and in that case, sorry, given that it's immune to being knocked prone, I won't give it advantage on the roll. I'll just have it contest you, and that doesn't work, and it gets knocked back 5 feet. Is that it for you?
Yes.
The Wraith, on its turn, its eyes flare a brilliant, sickly yellow color. It glides over towards Lunalia. But instead of attacking, you see its arms raise up in the air, and from the headless corpse, a strange pinkish purple glow erupts as a second form rises, ghost-like, out of Nesnar's body. Bear with me while I go find a token for a specter. I don't know if I actually have one. I might have to import one.
It's been longer than a minute. You can't make him a specter.
Hey, I can do what I want. Monster stat blocks are just a suggestion.
I like it.
Blocks. Yeah, because the create specter, they have to be dead less than a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna have to barf a token onto the map here. Give me a second, and I'll drag one in.
I'll just put Nesnar. You already have him handy.
No, I need the actual token. It's got to be accurate. There we go. Can I just drop this in? Uploading file. Come on, come on, come on. Why is that gigantic?
Oh, he's big.
Huge.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. All right.
We're gonna have to go to town right after this and get me resurrected.
You get Kern.
He's out of spell slots.
No.
Oh, you said he was.
He's almost out. He's got 1/3 level left. Let's see. Specters have, oh, that's not very many. And 50 and, there we go. And let's just roll initiative for our spectral friend here. There we go. Hey, that actually worked. Look at that. Freaking cool. Alrighty. That is the Wraith's turn. Scribble. You see this this ghastly pair of incorporeal forms here. The specter looks like looks nothing like what Nesnar looked like in life, and it howls in a ghastly, hollow, empty howl, seemingly not having any of his intellect remaining.
Alright, well, I will cast Chromatic Orb. And
Just
I
beware,
will twin it using
you've
my...
got a column here that's kind of blocking you.
Do I?
Yeah, the room's got these 6 big stone columns in it.
So if I move out to here, I'm fine with it?
Yes, sir.
Alright, I will do that then.
All right.
So that would have been at the Wraith.
Oh yeah, 21 hits. Cold damage. The orb slams into the Wraith, shattering and peppering it with shards of ice, some of which pass through it and seem to do less damage than you would have liked.
Whoa.
Yeah, Wraiths are... actually, both of these creatures are somewhat resistant to a lot of stuff. Uh, 16 definitely hits the Spectre, and same effect. The damage seems to be lessened, but overall, it looks its form is starting to shred apart from the damage. It does not look like a very tough creature.
Oh, good. And that's all for me.
Alrighty. On the Spectre's turn, it howls and moves towards Scribble. Reaching out with its ghastly, long, distended arms, it tries to grab you with its
rude.
life drain attack. Grabby hands. Natural 1.
Oh,
So that's its turn. Noro.
I don't. I'm gonna charge to where Lunalia is and help with the Wraith.
Alright.
I like to get here, and that way I can activate Sentinel.
Nice.
The red light flashing as Clangor's Rend cuts through the air and then through the Wraith. Again, doing less damage than you would have expected, but still finding purchase as you cleave through it for half damage. Second attack, bonus action.
Yeah, I'm gonna second attack here.
Ooh,
Nice.
19 as you slice down through it again, tearing tendrils of dark, inky shadow away from it. 13. Its form is starting to tear apart as well. Lunalia, the turn is to you.
Oh man.
Choose next option wisely.
Well, her spear has been silvered.
Oh.
Yes. think I did at least one weapon for everybody.
I think so. I know you did the spear tip. So yeah, she will. Yeah. She'll stab her spear into the wraith.
I am wrong, by the way. Noro and Rogar, you did full damage. Your weapons are both magical.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I hope so.
So that's an additional 8
Ugh.
and 7, 8, 15 damage. And we'll go back up to Vicious Longsword. 13, that's another 7 damage. Okay. Lancing out with the silver tip of your spear, unfortunately, you just miss, sliding over its shoulder as the silver passes by, its eyes following the tip of the spear as it passes dangerously past it. Bonus action movement, anything?
Can I? She wants to get away from it, but she's gonna have to stay where she is because if she takes an opportunity attack, it could kill her. So she will stay where she is.
Alrighty. Rogar.
Run up to it and swing twice. That will be with a maneuver. Of,
Using goading attack again, or?
Yeah. Just let me find a D8.
Yeah, it really sucks that you can't just roll the maneuvers. Like they don't show up on your attack actions or whatever.
And he has to make a DC 16 with saving throw.
Okay, so that is 11 plus 4 damage. I mean, he can't because he's dead.
Oh,
He had 14 health left, and you did 15 points of damage.
nice.
So how do you finish the Wraith off as you charge in swinging?
I guess straight from like the top of his head down to not his feet because he doesn't have any. I don't know, straight through him. Leave him in twain.
The blade of the sword passes through the spectral crown that sits atop of his head, shattering it, bisecting its hollow skull right between its yellow eyes as they burst and dissipate. Its form disappearing from the top down as it splits like a zipper, as the vicious longsword cleaves through it.
I will use the rest of my movement to move to the specter then, and use
Second
my second
attack?
attack.
Nice.
Oh, come on.
Oof.
There we go.
Natty 1. Their AC isn't very high, but unfortunately it's slightly higher than that. The Spectre, seeing you coming, spins quickly and somehow manages to catch the flat of your blade, batting it aside with a strange purple bony hand. Mr. Scribble.
Well, this thing's in my face still. So do I, if I tried lightning lure and it's right in my face, do I still have the penalty to casting?
Only if it is a ranged spell attack.
Okay, I think it probably still is. The damage is done if it's close, but
Hmm.
I'll try to cast it anyway.
Just having a look here. Lightning Lure is listed as a... no, it's not a ranged attack. You don't roll dice. It is a saving throw,
Really?
isn't it?
I
Target
don't
will
know. Let me
succeed
hit
on a
cast, see
strength
what
saving
happens.
throw or be pulled up to 10 feet in a straight line towards you, and then take 1d8 lightning damage if within 5 feet of you. Yeah, it's
Oh, I guess maybe it's not.
yeah, it's just a save.
It's not gonna do much.
Well, 4 damage. Damage is damage. It's just a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, strength save, and it is, does it really even, it fails the save, but it, like that, I guess that just means it takes the damage. It doesn't really get moved at all. Lightning, and it unfortunately only takes 2 points, because it is resistant. As this lash of lightning wraps around it, sort of pulls through its form. It electrifies for just a second, lighting up the space around it in a flash. On the Spectre's turn, it is going to again try and reach out to life drain you. That hits, and I need a shield or a con save,
I will shield it.
because it is a melee. Can you shield a melee spell attack?
I don't
I don't
know.
see why not. You're just increasing your AC.
I will shield it if allowed to.
Yeah. Well, let me have a look at shield. Well, +5 bonus to AC. No, it doesn't. One
If the
reaction
thing
which
is
you
trying to-
take when you're hit by an attack or targeted by the magic missile spell. Yeah, it doesn't say melee or spell attack. So yes, it is just increasing your AC, which this roll is against. So yeah, you whip a hand up, and a blue-white shimmering barrier rises out of the ground, knocking the Spectre's creepy, long-nailed, spectral fingers aside. And that is its turn. Noro.
I'm gonna super athletically jump over this wagon.
I mean, I don't want to see it happen,
But
I want to see you roll a 1.
but I'm going to ask you to roll an athletics check just for fun.
Okay. And I've been cursed by Rogar, so I roll with disadvantage.
No, you
No.
just roll. Look, we'll let the dice figure it out.
Oh! Oh gosh! I rolled
It's-
a 4.
It's, you know what, easy enough. It's not a big deal for you to do. Rogar chuckles a little as Noro lands poorly and stumbles a bit, but it doesn't really affect your ability to attack this turn.
You hit your shins while you were trying to climb over it.
You look
I
like
know,
a bit. You look like a bit of a derp doing it. There's your penalty.
I'll tell Rogar, you didn't see that as I take a swing.
Ooh, that hits. 12 slashing damage as Clangor's Rend flashes red through its purple form. The Spectre splits around the blade, reforming, but slowly, and its scattered form is having trouble staying together. It looks almost done.
I weakened it for you.
Thanks, rolling again. Oh, come on, that was a 20.
Oof. Unfortunately, not high enough, and the Spectre dodges to the side around the blade. And unless you have a bonus action, the turn is to Lenalia.
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
I am going to, as a bonus action, cast Magic Stone. And fire it at the Spectre.
Alrighty. 25 for 7 points of magical bludgeoning damage. Where do you hit him at? It's gonna finish him however you do it.
In whatever is left of him.
Well, Noro and Rogar, the sound of a speeding object whizzes past your ears as the stone flies between the two of you, striking the specter in the face, tearing a hole in its head that sort of spirals. The material spirals around this stone as it passes through it, and the specter's body follows, dissipating as it's pulled away with the stone, which clatters harmlessly off the wall as the specter vanishes. And as we find ourselves at the end of combat here, the now slightly warier party looks about the room, finally quiet, hopefully for good now. You guys okay out there?
It's all clear.
All right,
Okay.
I can't get him.
Come on.
I can't get him away from this book.
That's fine. Just stay with him.
Right.
So that was the Drow's body, right?
The body is still laying there inert and headless. This specter
Wraith
rose
just
from
used a
its
spell
form.
to create a specter.
Yeah. It
Oh, I
just,
see.
it just pulled some ghostly essence from it.
Yep, she's gonna pick it back up.
Okay.
Gonna say to Noro, did you really have to cut his head off?
I just kind of give her a look.
You didn't cut his head off?
I just sliced his neck, like, to bleed
Where the hell
out.
did his head go?
Well, that's where I'm actually gonna go look. Gonna go see what's going on. I mean, I didn't see it come off. Did you see it come off?
Well, I wasn't looking. I'd walked away at that point.
Maybe when we were moving the body to remove his armor and things, it kind of just widened the cut. Maybe it fell into the water.
It just fell off. Yeah.
Wouldn't you have noticed that?
This happens.
A head falling off a body, I feel like, would be noticed.
Eh,
You do it so many times, you just...
Well, you do it so many times, maybe. I would notice if a head fell off a body.
once you see one head fall off a body, you've seen all of them fall off bodies.
Well, I've never seen a head fall off a body. She's gonna pick his body back up. I really need to rest before we get into more combat.
I mean, we can rest here.
There's still dead things here.
We were able to rest here before. We don't know what's beyond there.
Sure we do, we saw it. It's a field of mushroom people.
Which we don't know if they're hostile or not. Bringing them
They're
a tasty
vegetables.
treat might...
How bad can they be? I've heard about mushroom people. They're a little weird, but they're harmless.
So you're just going to go toss the body at one of them?
Well, I was hoping to take it down, and I want it disposed of. I don't want somebody to be able to resurrect it. You know, and I figured the mushroom people would be... That's what mushrooms do.
It's missing a
There's
head.
a pool of lava, right?
Right, but at the same time,
She wants to see
Why
the
not?
pretty mushrooms.
I want to talk to the mushroom people.
Well, then just tell us you want to talk to the mushroom people.
I want to talk to the mushroom people and feed it a dead body.
Alright.
That's what mushrooms do. It's like a peace offering. You know, if we were going to talk to giant flies, I'd take some shit with me.
Are those a thing?
I don't see why they're not.
Kern pokes his head out the doorway.
Somewhere in the
I don't know
world,
if I
maybe.
wanted to know that, but I guess now I know that.
So she's just gonna go back up to the edge where they had looked in before
Mm-hmm.
and see if anything has changed down there.
No. You find things relatively the same. The the massive cavern glitters. The ceiling of the cavern glitters like the twilight of stars. Far below, you see the Myconids moving slowly about between the stone spires. It's a long ways down. Like you would spend probably the better part of an hour winding your way down the half an hour winding your way down the cliffside, down the narrow path, to get to the floor of the cavern. So I don't know if you're intending on just chucking his body over the edge or taking him all the way down there.
No,
or...
she's gonna take it all the way down.
Okay. Is anybody going with Lunalia, or is this a
She's
little
not going
solo...
if she's going by herself. She's only gonna go if everybody goes.
to say. What are you guys doing?
I'm supporting the cause.
Yeah, I'll go.
I mean, Lunalia wants to rest, but she doesn't want to rest up here. We don't know if there's more wraiths. She wants to rest down where the Myconids are to, at least stay somewhat safe.
What's Scribble doing?
I'm gonna rest up here with Kern and Louis.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm gonna rest up here at the shrine then, where we rested before.
That's a good point.
Like, it's not a full sleep rest. It's just,
Like a
sitting
short
down,
rest?
hanging out.
Oh, okay, because Lunalia needs a full rest.
An hour-long rest. I can use my feet.
Oh yeah, you can make some nice recovery foods for people.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, the Rock Seekers only needed us to clear out basically what we can see on the map, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, clear out the mines of undead.
And how far are we from the surface, from where the base camp is?
The map that you're looking at is no more than 400 feet from the other map. The
Fuck
camp.
it, she's gonna rest outside. She's gonna turf the body over the edge, though.
Okay.
And she's just gonna say down to the Myconids. Because she yelled down at them before and got no response. I will be back for a visit later.
Later.
Feel free to decompose the body that I've just offered.
Offered.
Go in peace.
Peace. You think you see movement down below. Maybe a couple of mushroom heads turning and looking your direction. You wait a few minutes and eventually you see shambling movement in the direction of where the body spilled over the edge. And eventually you all find your way back for a brief break. And I think if you guys don't mind, we'll take a quick break. Think about where you want to go, what you want to do next. Maybe...
Yeah, where are we taking a break? Are we going outside? And
Yeah, if we're that close to base camp, that's where Lunalia will go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very quick walk back outside.
It's like a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, and you would find that the majority of the Rockseeker team is still, within the tunnel, near the tunnel entrance, on Dragon Watch. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break. See you guys back. If you want a longer break, please tell me. It can be longer if you want, but
That's good with me.
and if you guys want to chat about what you want to do next or whatever, please feel free. We'll be back.
I'm gonna grab some more water. Be right back.
And we're back. Yay, welcome back, everybody. I see Starsha in the chat asking for break music. I don't see why not. I will see what I can do. No, the short
Then
answer
LT.
is I did my best to copy what Deebs did. Deebs didn't. I don't think Deebs had hold music. You know what? We'll try and stitch something together. Yeah, I gotta find some something I won't
Halfling
get copyright striked for.
We won't get copyright strike because we're not monetized.
Oh, really? Cool. Well, that'll work. I mean, unless you guys want to make money off this. I don't think anybody paid to listen
I
to
don't think
our
anybody would pay us.
cheesy
The
ass
only
D&D.
way that you could make money off of it is if you got affiliate,
Mhm.
and to do that
Sponsorship.
you have to sign an actual contract that you're not going to stream it to another source. And you actually have to make $100 of income before you get paid anything.
Makes me wonder how Critical Role is getting away with streaming on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously then. Like, they started doing that recently, I noticed.
They probably got a better contract. I mean, they're partnered, not affiliate. Affiliate's just like the dog shit.
Well, I mean, beyond being partnered, they're doing an animated series with Amazon now, so that's like...
Yeah.
They're partnered with the parent company on a pretty big thing.
Yeah,
as well, so
they're okay.
yeah. No, it's nice that they're streaming on YouTube too, because Twitch sometimes is just like it's really dodgy, and it's nice to have an alternate stream to go to if it gets dodgy. But to be honest, the quality on Twitch is, we were looking at it on Thursday, way better.
Yeah, it is.
It's just we have a tendency to, like, things will just come to a halt on Twitch.
Yeah.
Usually multiple times in like a 3-hour run.
Yeah, YouTube's pretty good at dropping the quality back, whereas Twitch will just like buffer, or sometimes just go down entirely for everybody. So anyway, seems to work well enough for recording our cheesy little games. So let's
I
get
think we're
back
fine
to
with
it
whatever
then.
music we want.
So, please feel free to not really look at the map any further. It is what it is. It's kind of there for reference. Remember, there are a couple of rooms that you haven't looked at yet, but it's not really there for combat. It's just there to remind you of where you guys are at. We'd say that, in your downtime, Louis would continue to research the forge room, with Kern, staying close by and keeping an eye on him, just making sure that, he doesn't fall in the water, fall in the lava, or, or something comes out of the wall and attacks him or whatnot. You all have the opportunity to punch your short rest buttons, to take that much needed short rest. So I will...
Yes, please.
Yeah, we're resting outside, right? Or are we resting inside?
I thought we were going outside.
Well, you're going outside.
I'm going outside. It's a 5-minute walk. She's gonna short rest outside.
If we go outside, I can make food, which will give people more health back.
Yeah, and it gives you an opportunity to catch up with, the dwarves if you want as
Yeah,
well.
let them know where we're at. Yeah.
Well, that works. Why don't
Then we
you
have
guys
a
do
majority
that?
of the mine cleared out. There's just like 2-3 rooms left that we need to clear.
Yeah, so let's do that. So go ahead and punch your short rest buttons. I'm going to do that for Louis here, I think.
So how many people are using hit die to recover health?
I am.
I'm gonna use one, and I'm gonna trust your food.
Okay, so that's 2. Scribble, are you using any?
I'm using one, but more for spell slots.
Okay. It specifically says more, 1 or more hit dice to regain hit points. Regain an additional 1d8 hit points.
I mean, if you've got enough food and there's just one that's gonna go to waste, I can use.
Oh
it
yeah,
on
I've
me,
got
but-
plenty. I have 7 uses of that.
Okay, yeah, then I'll take one. I'll roll the hit die.
So yeah, just roll an additional 1d8.
Alrighty, so Louis done a short rest, and we'll do Kern's short rest, and we will...
Why did it automatically add something for mine? It added +3 for both of my rolls.
Your con?
Oh, right. That's what it is. And what am I adding to it from you?
Just a D8.
Just 1d8. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm rolling 2 hit dice, so...
I think your first was a 7.
I can't get it to roll all 3 hit dice at once, but that's okay. So 20 for Kern. Okay, Kern and Lure, you're back to full. Nearly full for Kern.
I am close to full. Oh wait, no I'm not. Close enough.
Thank
It's
you,
just
Roger.
it's one additional d8 for the food, right?
Yes. I don't know if one creature can eat multiple servings of it. I don't... Can I link that? Well, I can just do that.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean,
Because I've still got 4 extra uses.
it's not really clear on how long you can hang on to that food for, or, you know, can it be used later? I don't really care. I mean, 4 plus your proficiency bonus is what, 7?
Yeah.
You
So
know.
I've used 3 charges of it. I don't know if I can... If I'm making, like, enough for 6 people, and it's just 3 people having 2 portions.
You know, I'd say part of the quality of the food is eating it fresh, right? Like, you really want to get the benefit you're going to eat it fresh. Is it feasible for somebody to eat 2 portions? I don't know.
Look at Noro.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Noro.
I'm kind of thinking like maybe Noro and you, maybe Kern could pack away a second portion. I don't know. It's a lot.
Okay, so quality over quantity then.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think here's the thing. You also have to spend 1 or more hit dice to get that extra D8 hit points, and you can only do that once per short rest. So if you wanted to spend a second hour, take another short rest. You know, maybe, but
What time of day is it?
well, you went in here in the morning, right?
don't
Yeah,
remember.
pretty early on.
Like basically first thing. So it hasn't been that long. You did take a short rest previously as well, so
Yeah.
we'll say it's noon or thereafter. And as you make your way out towards the entrance of the mine shaft, you find the 3 dwarven brothers in that first bend in the tunnel, around a table where, you know, maps and plans and various other things have been piled up, as well as, you know, crates and supplies that have been brought in from outside. This sort of widening in this bend here is their little makeshift base. You can hear voices from further out towards the entrance. Gundren looks up and... So, how'd you do?
Well, it's not fully cleared out yet, but it's cleared out enough that you might be able to begin operations, if that's something you want to do.
Do you think it's safe enough for us to move inside?
Yes.
Right. Good. Well, lads, let's get going then. Tharden, with a grumpy look on his face. It's good work, lads. We'll go get the other boys.
I would let them know about the Myconids, as like down in the mines where they're actually going to be mining.
Right. Well, that's good to know. I don't quite know how we're going to handle that, but we'll
You ask
deal
them.
with it. Excuse me?
You ask them. You say, "Excuse me, we'd like to mine down here a little, over there, and maybe over there. Is that going to be an issue with you people?"
Oh, I mean,
She wants an excuse to talk to the mushroom people. Just take her with you.
I can go and ask. Yes,
dwarves are
I'd be
no
more than
strangers
happy.
to the mushroom folk, but sure, I'd be glad to bring you along when the time comes. It's only right. You're a full partner in the mine.
Yes.
I
Yes.
suppose I
exactly.
should put you to work. Right. Later, though. I'm assuming that's further down, further back.
Yes.
Yes.
All
They're
right.
eating right now anyway.
Insight check. I see. So, what was on the menu then?
Drow.
Singular.
Really? Anyone we know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not personally. At least not for you.
Well, I know a couple. You know, the one who put me back together and his boss.
Oh, right. Yeah, we're talking to Gundren. I thought we were talking to
No, Gundren.
one of the other two. Yeah, the black spider.
You finally finished him off. Well, it's one less problem we have to worry about now.
Unfortunately, the other one got away.
The sounds of it. I don't
well,
think he'll be back though.
strange one that. Didn't like him, but suppose I have him to thank for. He looks down at his stitched together, multicolored flesh on his forearms, and hands. Suppose I have him to thank for this, such as it is.
You thought about getting a glove?
Maybe. Certainly, if I go out in public. Speaking of which, have you all put any thought into what you're going to do when you go back to town? Because I have been mulling it over after my last visit and this unexpected surprise of, well, all the folk there looking for me. Could you do something about that? I mean, it's your mine now as well. You could feel free to just tell them to fuck right off. It's not healthy for that many people to be hanging around Phandalin looking for a piece of this.
True. Yes.
Would you want to partner with any of them? Obviously not for the fake promised 60% of the mine, but
No, to be honest, I was considering it. We were desperate, but the advance that you put forward should be enough. I think. A lot of it depends on the state of the mine and the forge. I don't know what exactly we're going to find, but so far as there's ore in the ground still, we'll get her up and running. Aye, I'm confident we'll be fine. I'd much rather have you lot as partners than someone who knows what they're doing.
So can I just throw an image of like the cave wall with the glittering?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
imagine
like
like
the cavern where the Myconid is.
Yeah, I imagine that's where they're gonna be mining.
Yeah, like I imagine you'd throw the image sort of up against the wall and ceiling of the small tunnel that you're in. You know, projector style. Oh, is that what you saw?
Yes, it's quite beautiful.
Aye, the Vault of Stars. I've read about it, but I didn't think it'd be. Alright. Well, if it's half of what you're showing me, that's promising. I think we're gonna be rich. Eh? Come on. I've got a small keg here. Let's all drink to celebrate. Long time coming.
We still have to go back in and clear out a couple of rooms.
Oh?
Some
We
of
just
them,
needed some rest.
yeah. Some of them have been blocked. We weren't able to open them very easily, so we want to go through them, make sure that they're cleared out. And there's at least one room that has enemies in them, but they can't get out. And I'm sure you don't want just an unknown room with potential threat behind it.
As an aside, it's 2 zombies and a couple of locked rooms that don't sound like they have anything in them. We certainly don't have to do that combat in game. I'll just tell you now, like when you go back, you can easily take care of them. And as far as the other 2 rooms, yeah, I mean, a couple of rolls to pick locks and investigate, and you may or may not find something fun. But I really didn't intend on having any further combat, so.
No, that's fine.
The zombies were there in case you just, oh, well, what's in here? And threw the door open, went, oh, shit. But
We've also got Louis and Kern in there.
Yeah, you got to take care of them too. Get out of my
fire,
mind.
Book.
Get out of my mind. Yeah. So, if you guys are worried about that being yet another set of combat, it won't be. Just
Okay.
We'll just hand wave that because I don't really care to have you guys fight a pair of zombies locked in a room. Who cares about that? That's not something our viewers at home want to see. Our viewer at home wants to see.
We have a few viewers right now.
Yes, our biggest combat, doors.
Yeah, 5 actually. Wow, I should stop looking. I'm getting nervous.
Well, half of that is us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't actually know if it counts the stream manager as a viewer or not, but yeah. So, Gundren pours a few drinks from a small pony keg for anybody who'd like an ale. His brothers and the mining crew start to cart crates of supplies back into the mine proper. And you are all left to take your short rest. Venturing out, if any of you do, you find the camp still quiet. The beasts of burden that were penned up are still there for now, seemingly untouched by the dragon, who has not reappeared. Perhaps having a little think about the little man who told him to go away, and the power in those words. And you find yourselves, having a restful early afternoon. As your short rest comes to a close and you finish your rather filling meal prepared by your friend and personal chef, Rogar, what would you like to do? Is there anything you'd like to discuss or any place you'd like to talk about going next?
Did the 2 that came with Louis, did they stay or did they go back?
They did. You actually catch me off guard here without their names.
Jim and George.
No. Feder and Samnus. You eventually find the 2 of them. They'd gone out to have a scout around. And they nod as you pass them. If there's any conversation you'd like to have with them, you could, but they are still about. I think the last time you'd spoken with them, Federa wasn't too keen on the 2 of them heading back to town on their own, given that dragon was about. It'd be a long sneak through the woods to try and stay off its radar. So they thought to stay here for a little bit.
I was just curious. I forgot if they had left or if they'd stayed.
Yeah, they're here. Their intent is to go back. They do have other obligations to their boss back in town.
I'd say Rogar would say this to like the rest of the party. How long? He would ask like, how long would we want to stay here, like kind of to help them while they're starting up their operation. Like if Lunalia goes down to the Myconids, she can maybe help convince them or talk to them and allow the dwarves to mine. Like if we want to,
You better hope they say yes.
like how long do we want to spend here, or do we just want to move on? Like move on back to Phandalin?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because there really isn't a rush to get back to anywhere. There's a forge here. It's not intact anymore, but there is enough tooling there that, given some time, Noro could finish the work on that breastplate. You all could take some downtime. We could do another week time skip, and talk a little bit about what you'd like to do in that period of time. You've got Kern, who with a night's rest and some fresh spells in the morning, could send a couple of sending spells per day to anybody he's met. It wouldn't be a huge list, but Deebs, Ulrich, and a handful of other people in town he could send a 25-word message to and get a 25-word response twice a day. You could perhaps persuade Federa and Samnus to head back to town and deliver a sending stone to somebody if you wanted, or a message, or send for help. Get some more folk out here to shore up the defense of the place. But yeah, you've got some time on your hands to think about it. And if you guys wanted to, we could even end the session a little early and let you think about that for next week with RF back at the helm of our beloved Frenchman and mage.
I miss that accent.
Yeah.
What was that, Hummer?
Yeah.
Hummer sounds so sick.
These allergies are kicking my butt.
Yeah, good times. That's all in your head, man.
Literally.
Right in the front part.
Yeah, stupid sinus.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have any pressing tasks or anything.
I'd say a week here might be fine. I'm just thinking, like, looking at the map with, all those dead bodies, like, right near the beginning. Could probably bring those down to the Myconids as kind of a, hey, here's a peace offering.
Oh, they're 500 years dead.
They're
Yeah,
gonna be like, no, this is dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
You brought us the driest crackers possible.
Crackers no soup. Crackers no soup.
I imagine Rogar would probably want to bury Jensen and maybe go out and get the other two and like bury them as well.
All right.
Like if Noro wanted to work on smithing here,
Yes.
that would be a good long time. Lunalia can go spend time with the mushrooms. Scribble can find a dark corner to be creepy in.
Plenty of dark corners here. Well, why don't we do it like this? Scribble, why don't you tell me what you're gonna do with those two rooms that you've yet to get into. You find that the door to one of them, I'm not gonna remember this off the top of my head, and I don't know if my notes are good enough to tell me what I actually told you. But one of the rooms is a wrecked office, remnants of book and parchment, ink too faded to read, pages that crumble at the touch. The other room is, you're able to get into it. I think you guys had already done a perception check to see if there's anything behind the door. We'll say you dispatch the two zombies in the one room. And of the other two rooms, that third one, cramped private quarters with a stone slab for a bed at the far end. So Scribble, if you're gonna because you're kind of the guy to usually do it. Do you want to do an investigation check in these rooms to see what you might find?
Sure.
I'd give you advantage because you have, all the time in the world to have a look. So somebody could assist you, or you could just spend a fair amount of time. Not good. Unfortunately, you don't find very much. In a small stone container, hidden out of sight behind the stone slab that might have sufficed as a bed once long ago, a large crack running through the middle of it, you find a small wooden pipe, beautifully carved, adorned with platinum filigree, and it doesn't seem magical. You do have Louis look it over, and he confirms there's nothing magical about it. It is nice, and it's probably worth a pretty penny if you were to try and sell it. It's perhaps an object of some significance to maybe the living being that became that wraith.
Aw, poor guy.
Fuck that guy.
As you're stuffing it into your pocket.
And that's it. That's the long and short of what you guys find here. The gemstones in the eyes of the dwarven statue in the temple glitter, catching your eye every time you enter that area or walk past it. But knowing that they're magically trapped, thanks to your wizard friend, nobody thinks to try prying them out unless you'd like to. I'm not trying to tempt you to, blow yourself
Deface
up.
a deity statue?
Deface a deity, set off a magical trap. But, if you wanted to, if you got bored in your time here, you could try it if you wanted. Noro, can I, if you want to continue repairing or continue the crafting on this this breastplate,
Yes.
could you make a blacksmithing skill check for me? And I'm just going to have a look at your character sheet to see what would make sense for that. I'm actually wondering if I should go have a look at my custom rules for that.
Agree.
Well, let's just crack open the old complete dwarven cookbook and see what she says.
Hmm.
Oh, Google Docs. You take so long to load. I'm looking at... So I wrote a bunch of custom rules based on a combination of a bunch of homebrew rules that I've found here and there on the internet. And while I really liked them at the time, I'm kind of finding that they probably need to be simplified a whole lot to really fit into 5th edition. You know, one of the biggest problems with homebrew stuff is it tends to really overcomplicate the game and add a bunch of rolls and mathematics that's really not necessary. Like, when it comes down to it, you just make a couple of skill checks and call it a day. Here we go. Crafting the item, skill checks. So with your Smith's Tools proficiency, which would just be your proficiency modifier of I think +3, we'll have you make a dexterity plus proficiency check for the first stage of the process. This would be for small, light, delicate, or detailed craft work.
Okay.
Such as, finishing the riveting and strap work, the buckles and straps for the breastplate.
Okay, rolling. Wait, how do you add the +3? I just add.
Just add plus, so it's a 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. So, after the first day, you spend some time with some spare leather that you had, cutting straps, burnishing the edges. You manage to find some spare buckles from around camp. Actually, you managed to salvage some off of the breastplate that Nesnar was wearing. And you finish that portion of it. For the next part, we'll have you do a charisma plus proficiency check.
Oh.
This is for crafting artistic items, designing and adding aesthetic enhancements, fluting, polishing, gemming. This is to finish the platinum work. So a 12. Unfortunately, you get partway through the application of the hammered out platinum leaf over the dragon design on the center of the breastplate, and you run into a hitch. The makeshift adhesive that you tried to mix up with the materials that you had about you just isn't sticking. Go ahead and make another roll. This time the DC is going to be a little higher. Oof.
No.
You find that with the tools that you have on hand, it's just a little bit beyond your grasp to finish this portion of it. Perhaps with the help of another smith, you can finish it. Maybe when you get back to Phandalin, you can look in on your friend there and get him to give you a hand. It's not really a skills issue. It's kind of, you don't have the right tools here for this fine detail of work.
Got it.
Louis looks over the armor piece and spends a bit of time casting a ritual spell on it and confirms that there is an enchantment affixed to it, but it's not going to work until the armor is finished, and there's perhaps a little more enchanting that needs to be done to lock it in. There's a twinkle in his eye as he says those words, because he seems to have discovered something in the meantime, but I will leave that to RF next week, because I don't want to take away the discovery of some fun stuff for him. So you find after a few days that the breastplate is just a little out of your reach to complete. Is there anything else anybody else wants to do in your time here?
Other than visit the mushroom people? No.
All right. Well, after a couple of days of getting settled in and the dwarves starting to clean the place up, Gundren surveys the collapsed entryway and comments on how long it's going to take to open that back up. It's going to be probably some weeks of work, but now that they've found the mine entrance, it's just a matter of labor. And he's talking about, with the cash advance you've given him, maybe even bringing in a larger crew. It's a defensible place. It's relatively safe. And so the dwarves set to work cleaning up what rubble they can. And
I'd say Rogar would probably help. Like, if it's halfway through the week, he's probably already buried the other people. He'd help clean up the place.
All right. Lunalia, Gundren one day comes and fetches you and says, I think it's time. I don't want to presume too much until we've spoken to our friends downstairs. Would you mind coming with me?
Absolutely.
You think we should, well, you've been down there. Is it dangerous? Should we bring some of the lads with us?
I don't think it's necessary to bring too many people.
Hmm.
I don't want to give them a reason to be worried.
Right then. Well, if it's all the same to you, I'll be taking this just in case. And he picks up a battle axe, somewhat awkwardly. Looks like he hasn't handled one in some time. Just in case, you know. Who knows what we might find down there. Right then. All right, lads. We're gonna go have a look below. Talk to our neighbors. Wish us luck. And he heads out with you in tow. You descend the long, wide ramp down to the opening into the cavern. And as you reach the end of the ramp where the path leads down sharply down the cliffside, he stops and... That is a sight. Would you... I haven't seen anything like this before.
It would be nice if we could keep the main part of this cavern untouched.
Oh, no, that's, it's the Dwarven way. We leave things better than we found them, but there's no reason to tinker with this. This is beautiful. Alright, let's go. Let's talk to our mushroom folk. You traverse the winding path that switchbacks down the side of the cliff, and as you reach the bottom, the floor of the cavern falls roughly away from you down into this forest of massive spires of stalagmites. The space between them actually, now that you're closer, there is a fair amount of space in between them. Gullies and canyons that are, 15, 20, 30 feet wide, rounded at the bottom. The glow of the various, lichens and fungus that grows up the sides of the massive natural pillars in this place, casting soft light and shadows. And in those shadows you see, eventually, figures move. Some of them shorter, some of them taller. Some of them spherical and drifting through the air off in the distance. The dwarf at your side, you feel his meaty hand clutch at your leg. Is this are we still safe? Is this all right? You know these folk better than I do.
I think we should be okay. Let's maybe not go any farther and let them come to us.
Right then. Right. Okay. He takes a couple steps back into the side and just fidgets nervously. You wait for 10 minutes or so. And as you do, there's a glimmer in the air of perhaps dust motes that are caught in the dull light about you as they float around.
So how far away is the closest myconid?
You don't really see myconids. You see movement in the darkness. Shapes sort of peeking around the stone spires. 30, 40, 50 feet away from you. But as you stand there and wait, the figures begin to shamble out into view. And now at 30 feet away, you find yourself staring at a 9-foot tall, lanky creature. Its wide brimmed head, covered in a plethora of smaller mushrooms. The dust motes floating about you now thickening, and as you inhale, you cough for a second, and I need you to make a wisdom save. And I will also make one for Gundren. Beside you, you hear a coughing fit erupt from the dwarf, and he reaches up and rubs his eyes and looks about, and starts muttering incoherently. You keep your wits about you, and you feel a presence in your mind as the largest of the Myconids shambles very quietly closer to you. You see images of perhaps a time long past, of wheeled carts full of ore, pushed by dwarves, in one case pulled by a large creature of shambling stone. Industry, mining, perhaps what this place used to be like. Myconids moving in between the stone spires, watching from a distance. The image flashes again, and it is a scene very much like you see here, but instead of you and Gundren, several dwarves facing several Myconids. The dwarves speaking and the Myconids sort of swaying back and forth as the dwarves talk. Another image, as the scene in your mind shifts again, the ground shakes and dust rains down from above, pebbles clattering on the floor all about. You feel from the Myconid that is in your mind a sense of worry, a sense of concern for their friends above, as battle rages on. Steel on steel heard in the very far distance, and you see the Myconids retract back into the forest of spires. And then quiet. You feel the passage of time, many, many, many years, decades, centuries of quiet and wonder and worry. And eventually a return back to an older way of life. A lonelier way, but older. You look up and the Myconid is now just a few feet away from you, towering over you, looking down. Its form shading you from the twinkling gems in the ceiling high above and the glow of the lichen that climbs up the walls of this place. It just looks down at you, swaying softly back and forth.
Do I get a sense that they understand spoken word, or that I should just be thinking at them?
You're not entirely sure.
She's just gonna lift her hand out towards the Myconid and say, I understand. My friend here, and others of his kind, are hoping to reopen the mines, and we wanted to make sure that that was going to be okay with you and your people.
The large creature sways back and forth. You hear and feel in your mind contentment that they've found something that was lost. And you get the sense that if things become as they were, all will be well. Just gonna post a image of the Myconids from the Monsters Manual here in in the chat scroll so the others can see what they look like.
Like a naked lady,
Yeah.
white and black.
That's cool, Poker. That looks just like Baldur's Gate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like same company, I guess.
Wait, where did you put it at?
It's in the chat.
Roll
It's
20.
Roll 20.
Yeah, when I paste or when I show images in the chat, you have to scroll down manually for some reason.
Oh, okay. I was looking like on the map or in the Discord, and I saw Darkstar's picture.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't scroll down when I paste images in.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell if that's like a baby myconid or like a mushroom dog.
Both. She's gonna turn to Gundren and say, I think it's okay. I think they're happy to have you here.
He just looks up at you. You can see his
Oh,
eyes
shit, you're stoned.
are he's a bit cross-eyed and unfocused. His pupils are dilated and he's just kind of staring at you. His head kind of tilts to one side. A little bit of drool runs down his beard. The
She's
Myconid
just gonna turn.
The Myconid
Turn
reaches
back to
down
the Myconids.
with one long, lanky arm and just places a hand on his head and just pats him on the head.
He'll be all right. I think your blooms are maybe something he has to get used to.
It slowly nods, its head swaying forward and back. Eventually, standing there before this strange creature, it just nods one more time and turns and starts shambling quietly away from you. And as it does, you see one of those strange spherical objects off in the distance float by again. Tendrils hanging from it, almost like the eye stalks of a beholder, but not quite. Eventually, Gundren snaps out of it. What? Did we win? What happened?
They're happy to have you here.
Oh. Well, I, suppose I have you to thank for that.
I think it would have been fine either way. Dwarves were here before, mining. They seem to have formed some sort of relationship with those that came before. So they're happy to have you back. I think as long as you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone.
Right. Well, I had no plan to, Right. Are you thirsty? I'm thirsty. Ugh.
She's just gonna hand over her water skin.
My head hurts.
I think it's the puffballs they emit. I have a feeling that's how they communicate. I think they have to get into your head.
Oh, I think they had a look around in there and, rifled through the cupboards. We should
Hopefully
probably...
you don't have anything bad rattling around in there.
We should probably get back. And he turns around and just trips and falls flat on his face, and you hear snoring.
Oh man. She's just gonna wave at the Myconids, and she can't carry him, he's too heavy. I'll send his brothers to come and get him. She'll leave.
Okay. You leave the dwarf face down on the cavern floor, snoring
She'll
happily
roll him over
away.
so he doesn't, She'll send somebody for him. He'll be fine.
Lunalia comes back up some time later, alone.
Well, that went well. I've never spoken to Myconids before.
Where's Gundren?
Oh, they had to eat him, but now everyone else will be fine.
Wait, wait. They had to eat him? What?
No, he fell asleep. They emit these sort of spores, I guess, or some pollen or something like that. I think that's how they communicate, and I think it was just a little bit too much for Gundren. So I think maybe we should send his brothers or somebody in. He'll be fine down there. He's just sleeping.
Kern
The
walks up.
Myconids are happy to have them.
Kern walks up. I'll go get him. I'll go grab. I'll grab some help. We'll go get him. If we have to carry him up, we'll do what we have to.
Well, I couldn't carry him. That's why I left him there. I knew he'd be fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I got him. So, but it's okay to go down there, right? Because I don't want to.
They're happy to have the mine reopened. It seems they've been there for a very long time.
Like they're cool with orcs too, because I don't know. I mean,
well, they've looked around in my head, I think.
I mean, I just worry about, like, my people don't do so well going into gated communities and stuff.
Oh.
So.
Norog sees what's going on. He's like, come on, Kern, let's go get him.
All right. I got you, buddy. I feel better with you coming with me.
Yeah,
Let's
just
go.
don't be threatening, and they'll be fine.
Cool. Yeah. Let's go meet some mushrooms. And long story short, you guys go down there and you actually don't see anything. It's quite quiet. It's eerily quiet as you find
I'm sure
Gundren.
they hear Gundren.
Well, you find the dwarf sitting straight up. Looks like he's just woken up from a nap. Hair and beard sort of matted and wrapped around his face, and he's just sorry, beard, not hair. He is bald. He just kind of looks up at you, bleary-eyed, stands up slowly, wobbles a bit. I didn't do so well. Meeting our fungal friends. They get in your head. It wasn't fun. Alright, let's go. Thank you. We'll be back. Nice meeting you, I think. Oh, my head. Let's go. So with your few days' time here, as Louis continues his research of this place, is there anything else you'd like to do before we maybe call it an evening, and you start thinking about what you want to do next now that we've closed the chapter with the Black Spider?
Well, Lunalia's getting a little concerned about Dralamar, seeing as how her friend is there, and the people that she was looking for are there.
Right. I'm thinking the same thing. Well, not definitely Dralamar. But, we can discuss that when...
I think we might also need to see how far along Deebs is with his construction project. / punishment.
Sinbearer.
So if we were there a couple days, I probably would have gone back to the statue and tried to work on mending it. If there was any pieces left after the wraith.
Oh, right, the broken one.
Why don't you make let's make an investigation check.
But I suck at those.
It's why I make you roll them.
I can help.
know.
Well, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Never mind, don't need to.
+0. Wow.
Good job.
2.
Unfortunately, a 20 wasn't high enough.
What?
I'm kidding. That's great. You spend the better part of a day piecing together as much of it as you can. You're fairly confident that you found most, if not all of it. I mean, this place hasn't. The worst of it, the place hasn't been disturbed in the last 500 years. Really, the worst of it is just the dwarves who've moved in here now, have come in here to pray a handful of times and have kicked some of the pebbles and dust that was once this statue about. It takes you the better part of a day to scrape together all that you can find, and some of it's really hard to tell where it was from, but you do your best of scooping handfuls of it up and trying to use mending to put it back in place, and trial and error. And by the end of the day, you have the lower third of the statue rebuilt. It's going to take some time, but you can likely finish it if you spend a few more days on it. Gundren's youngest brother, Nundro, at the end of the day, wanders in. Oh, what you doing there? Did you put that back together?
Part of it.
I can see, unless it's the god of legs. Would you like some help? It's fascinating work you're doing. Yeah,
And if you happen to know who it is.
Well,
I know who it is.
Let's see. Nope. I rolled poorly. I'm not sure, but well, maybe if we put a little more of it together, we can tell. I'll help you. I've got some time. It's mostly heavy lifting going on right now, so sure. He sits down on the ground and starts scooping up handfuls of the rubble that was once the statue. Starts trying to put them together like puzzle pieces. With an extra pair of hands, things go a little better, and you think you can maybe make some progress over the next day or so. Go ahead and make one more roll. This time, just a dexterity check with advantage. Not bad. By the end of the second day, you've pieced together most of the torso, and it's really the arms are tough. Just the way that they're off the sides of the centerpiece, and not load bearing in any way other than their own weight. They seem to have sustained the most damage as well. One more for the third day. Looking for that natural one.
What am I rolling?
Just another dexterity advantage. Ooh, not as much progress on the third day. You're having trouble putting the head back together, and the face is just gone. But you get enough of it together that it's the torso, the legs, torso, one arm partly, and the shoulder and upper part of the other arm, the neck and part of the head up to sort of one ear, and you're getting to the part there's just not much left. It's just a handful of dust and pebble. Nundra says, well, I think that's... I don't know if we're going to get any further than this, but it's well done. I think whoever made this would be proud with what you've done with it.
It seemed wrong to leave one broken statue in here.
I can't remember what What are the other statues? It's a mix, isn't it?
It's a mix. Yeah, let me just go back and have a quick look here.
The other option was to just break the other statues.
To make them all
And that
even.
wouldn't work.
I made them all match. Moradin the Forge Lord, Gond the Wonderbringer, Kalador and Smoothhands, Master of Stone, Ayun the Knowing Mistress, Azuth, Patron of Mages, and this sixth statue. And at the head of the room is oh boy. Why do I not have his name written down? Well, he's the dwarven god of mining.
Something weird.
Dumathoin, dwarven deity of mining and underground exploration, the keeper of secrets under the mountain. You would surmise that this is it's a mix of sort of the favored gods of the different races that work together here in this place. One of them being a Svrfneblin, or deep gnome god. And then this strange, dark-skinned or dark-stoned, slender, perhaps elvish goddess that Scribble has done a pretty good job of putting back together. And actually, it's something to think about asking Louis to take another run at.
Well, I guess Kern, he's a hedge cleric, he probably would know.
Yeah, he wouldn't be very studied, but Louis is your guy with all the book smarts. Maybe have him take a run at it next week. So, I'm looking to wrap up unless anybody's got anything big they want to do. But I would definitely encourage you to think about what direction you guys want to go next session. Because this chapter is, for all intents and purposes, closed. Nora's got a piece of armor that needs a bit of work. You guys have a dread sword that you might want to do something with.
And a very dangerous skull.
Well, we don't know that.
That nobody else knows about. Friends to go back and see, a new threat perhaps to the nearby city, a great evil beneath the ground in Dralamar, the missing
ground in Dralamar or Phandalin?
In Phandalin, the missing wizard and his draconic keeper, and the madman in the woods and whatever he's up to. And a few other things that you'll yet discover. Possibility of a white dragon ruining your day. It's still out there. Anyway, some things to think about for next time. Does anybody have anything else before we wrap it up, or?
Mm-mm.
No, I think that's a good stopping point for this week.
All right.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of stuff for Louis at the start of next week's session. Definitely don't want him to miss out on some of the exploration of this place and some of the things that only a wizard would be keen to. But and maybe I'll give him a heads up on some of the stuff he discovered, and maybe have him make some rolls to see if he can intuit anything else about the magical items. As far as the items go, Mr. Scribble, you are the only one who can use the astral shard, so go ahead and give yourself that on your character sheet, and decide if you want to attune to it and how you want to affix it to a piece of jewelry or a weapon or something. The Stone of Teleportation, I actually have an item for it, but why don't you guys tell me who's going to hang on to it? I think Lunalia was going to take it, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's got it right now.
I will create
Yeah,
a
that's fine.
proper magical item in D&D Beyond and put it on your character sheet. But I will not attune you to it.
Okay.
Just so you have it in case
Mhm.
you decide to do something with it. I'll
Will you split the cash monies?
yeah,
for
and
us?
actually, sorry, I intended to have Gundren talk to you about that, but he basically tells you anything you find in here, any treasure you find, they're good. The business is good for money. Take what you want. He said, he says he certainly won't argue if you want to leave them some, but it's not necessary. Take what you want. Take what you need to keep doing what you're doing. You're doing good work. For them, for Phandalin, and for the area in general. So,
Sweet.
fund
Yeah, 'cause-
yourselves with whatever you find.
The bars and stuff, Lunalia has no interest in. Like,
Well, yeah,
but she doesn't have an issue if Nora wanted to use it for whatever.
I was just going to give the bars to Noro.
Yeah.
But beware, there's 3 platinum bars worth a total of 7,500 gold. So, you guys want to talk about that, and they're 5 pounds each, so it's actually not that much. Like, it's 15 pounds in a sack, right? But that's a lot of cha-ching. And you guys should definitely think about that breastplate for next week, and we'll talk about that a bit, because it could be something pretty cool.
Right on.
The one that's not magical that we took the stone out of?
No, the one that is magical that's unfinished.
Oh, right.
I mean, you have a wizard and a blacksmith in the party, and my intent with that was to give you something that could be worked on with some rolls, and take a little time and maybe a little cost, but be something that somebody could use. Or if nobody wants it, you sell it for a pretty penny. And I think that's it.
Okay. Super fun, man.
So what would a platinum bar be used for? Like, is it something that would be used for blacksmithing, or is it just to sell?
Yes. Yeah, it would be used typically for crafting magic items.
Oh, okay.
And at 5 pounds, it's not like it's not like a huge, like what you would think of for a gold bar. It's small,
Are they trade bars or are they crafting bars?
They're crafting bars. I'm just gonna have a look here and see how big a 5 pound bar of. Not thanks Google, but I don't want a 5 pound bar of chocolate. Now I want a 5 pound bar of chocolate.
No, hold on. Rethink that statement.
No,
That's
I mean
a
I
lot of chocolate.
I mean I always want a 5 pound bar of chocolate, but
You're not looking for a 5 pound. I just Googled it, like a gold bar. It says it typically weighs 27.5 pounds.
yeah.
And that says it would be 7 inches times 3 5/8 inches times 3/4 inches.
It is denser than gold, so
I'm just like doing random like conversions.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the stream for the week, but we can keep talking here. For anybody watching, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.